To call the Delaware County Commissioners meeting of Monday, March 16th, 2015 to order. We'll do the pledge, and we have Charlie Brooks, a veteran, in the audience today, and Charlie's going to lead.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Charlie, if you'd like to step over to the microphone and give us your name, and what you do for a living, and how you can help our veterans.
I'm Charlie Brooks, and I'm a retired senior chief from the Navy. Currently, I'm working for the state of Indiana at Workforce Development. My position is a Disabled Veterans Outreach Program Specialist. And what I do is I work with veterans who have barriers to employment and try to help them find the resources to overcome those barriers so that we can help them get into functional living again. Many times they will come in and it's just as simple as working with them to help them get a resume straightened out and where it works for them when they're going out to visit the employers. Other times we're dealing with situations like PTSD or physical impairments. And then we bring in sister organizations and try to help resource them out to get to the right person to help them get the services they need to help them get back into a functioning life. And I work with a lot of different organizations, like for instance, Jake here is our new county service officer, and Jake's going to be working, Nate, I'm sorry, working really closely with us in our partnering. And we also work with the vet courts. The vet court is a court that is designed to take the veterans who have found themselves returning from active duty, dealing with issues, and many times start self-medicating and find themselves in trouble. And what we do is then we try to get them into the proper resources and counseling to help them get back into a functioning lifestyle again. And that's what I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll have the roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Here.
Ms. Reagan.
Present. Okay, no public hearings, approval of minutes.
Make a motion to approve March 2nd Commissioners meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Okay, we have a presentation, I believe, if Mr. Jacobs is here. Mike, please step to the mic and give your address.
Good morning, this is Mike Jacobs with Country Village Creekwood Neighborhood Association, and I've got 3 to 5 minutes to review what's happened in probably the last 3.5 years with everybody's cooperation. On the front page there, and I'll go through this real quick, and please don't throw those folders away. There's a lot of important good stuff in there. I was told to keep it to a couple, 2 or 3 pages. Most of it's pictures. But on the front page, there's a map. On the inside cover, there's a thank you letter that we've written to the commissioners in 2013. And we are a neighborhood association that has a board that is very, very, very active. It's not a social gathering. It's a working board. And we have, in the last 3.5 years, made several accomplishments, and that's, you can take a look at that. It is the 4th page back. And those are the things that we have, as a group, a working group, have gotten accomplished over the last 3 years that we're rather proud of. So we're somewhat tooting our horn. But the cooperation of the county, when we first met, we went up and asked how could we help ourselves, and we met at that table right there, and that was 4 years ago. And we met with the drainage department, the highway department, the surveyor's office, and I believe, Angie, you were the one that told us that we had a terrible, terrible leaf problem out there. So there are myths, there are concerns, there are issues, but they've all been addressed over the last 3 years with total cooperation. And we can't say thank you enough to the county. Many tours have been made. There are maps in there for you to look at. There are photos for you to look at. There still are a couple tiny drainage issues. There will always be a pothole or two to fill, but we do have a stretch of road about a quarter of a mile that we would like to complete this year if possible, if we could be put on the map. In 2013, the county came out. We had done a study on how we could repair that concrete. It was entertained, but as always, we probably put four options on the board and picked the one that is probably most inexpensive and most efficient. And there are several pictures in there, as I mentioned. We do have one drainage issue, and that runs down 100 Schaefer Road. That's on your map there on the front. Through Regional Wastewater, they got an estimate of $4,500 for a pipe. We're looking right now to see if we can't find a little better price. The landowner next to that home said, "You're more than welcome to come through my yard and go to the ditch." Drainage has been much improved. We started using cocoa mats. We've done a leaf pickup the last 3 years, thanks to Angie's suggestion. It took 14 individuals, volunteers, not paid individuals. It took a landowner out there giving us space to dump the leaves at $25 a load. The first year it was 42 loads. We don't have any more money than anybody else, but we're very frugal with our money. And it took 190 man hours, 2.5 days to suck up all the leaves. And I thought Angie was just blowing smoke at me the first time I met her. Folks, it's real. And the very first year, I spent 19 hours of my own personal self just to figure it out and find it out. And she hit the nail on the head. So what we're asking for here, Sun Valley was paved. Concrete issue became a mute issue due to weather and so on. And it has immensely helped our neighborhood. But we have about a quarter of a mile left on Sacramento that we'd like to get on the map this year to have completed. And I think our neighborhood will be standing tall. So I appreciate all your efforts. I wish you'd look through that folder. There are several maps and everything's pretty much pointed out, and hopefully you'll accept our request. Appreciate your time.
I'm sure the people out of the country village know how much work and time you put into this. And my favorite story when I met with Mike was that not only did he do a bunch of leaf picking up, but he walked the creek. And how many beaver dams did you find?
We've removed 7 beaver dams.
7 beaver.
That was part of the drainage issue. We've
Yeah.
had jet rotting done out there at very little expense. Chris McCammon has been extremely helpful. Every department we've gone into has put their hand out, shook our hand, and given us guidance. We haven't gone up and pointed fingers. We've asked for help. And hopefully we've done our part to pay back and be involved. So,
We greatly appreciate everything you folks are doing.
all right.
And
Thank you, sir.
it's a perfect example of working together, and we do thank the departments for going out and helping them. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
this should be a lesson for other neighborhoods that have many issues that were developed back in the early years that need correcting, and there's just not enough man hours and money for us to do it all. But
Thank
you've
you.
got the problem solved out there. Thank you. And we'll see what we can do.
Appreciate that.
Okay, going down to contracts, we're going to, I guess the first one was pulled, so the agreement for collection of accounts with Mr. Rogers, EMS.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This agreement has been worked on for about a month now between myself, Mr. Holdren, and Mr. Murphy. We looked at the collections that we've done in the past and reevaluated those contracts as well as our billing, and we've come up with a couple of ways to improve our services to the people that owe us money. One of the things that we have done is offer them some discounts on their ability to pay if they're willing to make cash payments, one time and settle up their what's owed. Then they can get a discount on that if they want to do a 2-month payment plan and a 3-month payment plan. And those are similar things that hospitals do that we've never done before. So we're hoping to bring some of those accounts, up to date. I can tell you just from this year, we've got somewhere in the realm of $75,000 in collections. Now, we go above and beyond what is typically done because they are medical bills. We understand people that have, these issues, can't pay their deductibles, or maybe they don't have insurance at all altogether. So, they're given at least 90 days, if not 120 days, to communicate with the billing company to set up some sort of payment plan before it would go into any type of collections. We've discussed this. Mr. Murphy's looked at all the options that we have had, and I believe we've come to terms with Mr. Holdren to try to keep that process local. So I think at this point we're ready to move forward with signatures on this, if you've had time to review it.
Yeah. And Mr. Holdren is sorry that he was not able to be here due to personal conflicts, but glad you are able to work something out.
Mr. Murphy, you looked at the agreement?
I have,
Oh, it's
yes.
okay.
Yes, we made some revisions.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion, we accept the agreement with Atlas Collection.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Okay, Angie has a contract for construction services, Flatland.
Good morning.
Morning.
This contract is with Flatland Resources for mitigation services for the Inlow Springs mitigation site. The contract is for a lump sum of $14,569. That includes tree and shrub plantings, seeding, and 3 years of spraying of invasive species.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes, thank you,
Thank
Angie. Okay, agreement to provide professional consulting service. Steve here. Oh, yeah. Looking at the other one's fine. Not out there.
This is on our yearly service that is done. I believe Maximus has done it for the last 7 or 8 years. I'd like to have Dawson Consulting do it for a year to see if they can recover, just let a different set of eyes look at it, see if they can recover anything more than what Maximus has done. His fee is $2,000 less than what Maximus is, so I'd like to at least have that contract for a year.
And you'd work with Dawson up in the
Yes.
clerk's office?
Yes.
On a different program, I think.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you, Steve. Okay, appointments, we think we have one that we need to make today, and
Good morning, James Carmichael, County Assessor. We have a vacancy on the Board of Appeals. We have somebody leaving due to a health issue that they had lost their certification level, and that person is in the process of resigning. So I'm going to suggest a former member be reappointed that has experience on the board, that is also a level 2 assessor appraiser. There is an option out there where that
can be waived by the commissioners, but I don't recommend that. Let's just leave that on there. And I suggest you reappoint Bob Adams to that position.
I'll make that a motion to appoint Mr. Adams to the property tax board.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Okay, thank you, James. Okay, an ordinance for second reading, 2015-004. Ordinance establishing our fee for stop payment on checks.
Steve, you made some corrections to this also, didn't you?
We just added a paragraph that allows the commissioners to be the final arbiter of any decision on that. It was read at the last meeting. I think it was actually approved, but should have been the first reading at the last meeting, and this would be the second reading.
I still trust the treasurer and the auditor to do that. I mean, would anybody in the audience like to speak to this?
I believe that like this. Harry?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I believe the treasurer's office came and asked for an ordinance.
We did back in October, November, because First Merchants was starting to charge us for all of our fees, and it's $35 for each stop payment that we have to put on. So instead of the county absorbing those fees, we ask that the payee pay that because we have the correct address that the check has been written to. We feel that it should have gotten there. It was not in our error. So to have that reissued, we feel that the payee should have to pay that because we're being charged that from the bank.
Right. And I believe this was just if it was our screw up, that we wouldn't charge the, correct?
There was one incident in which it wasn't the payee's fault. The mail got lost on the way, and we didn't think it was fair to charge the payee if it wasn't their fault. So the county would have to absorb it in that instance, and that's where the rub comes in. I think maybe there's a difference of opinion on how that ought to be handled, but this ordinance would allow the commissioners to make a final determination on whether we charge back the payee or whether the county picks that.
I think we only have, what, 20 a year? Or how much?
We had 15 last year, roughly. That's over $500. 11.
We had 11 last year.
I guess my question is we'll waive the fee for this person, but not waive it for this one, because everybody's going to say that it got lost in the mail, and who's to say that it did or it didn't? And we do have a budget. You know, county council gives us the budget. Last year we didn't have enough money in the budget to pay all of our bank fees, so we had to carry some of those over to 2015.
I see you have the new treasurer there behind you. Would you like to step forward and we'd like to welcome?
Gary Campbell, Delaware County Treasurer. I just wanted to mention, I didn't know if she's going to mention that we do have the budget to pay those, but we went over almost $1,000 last year paying the ones that, and they paid them except for the one maybe, but so we really don't have any money to pay if we decide to let somebody skate. So
It's not really letting somebody skate, but if it's our fault, you know, why should we make that person pay if it's our fault?
well, that was my point there. Other than government agencies, if it's our fault, I agree we should pay that. But the ones that there's normally a 2-week period that after the 2-week period we might stop payment, and that's kind of the person's choice also. If they want to stop payment, then they would pay that fee. So if we went ahead and paid those, there was how many of them last year?
It's roughly around $500.
$500. So, and like I say, we were over budget $1,000 anyway, so it's not really money there to do that.
And from my understanding, the treasurer's the one that come and asked for this to be done.
Correct.
That way it didn't fall back on them, it would fall back on the commissioners if this mishap happened.
No, I don't believe so with that.
It wasn't in the original ordinance that you signed in October. It didn't state that the commissioners would make the decision. At that time, it was left up to the treasurer.
Right.
This only come up a couple months ago. We have collected $35 from 2 so far
Yes.
this year. Well, Mr. Overby, he wanted his check replaced. We waited a few days and he ended up getting it. That was no fault of anybody's here, wasn't no fault of his, it just got lost in the mail somewhere. But if you're gonna determine who has to pay and who doesn't, a question we have is, we're gonna have to find you guys to decide, it could be 2 weeks before, are you gonna sign something,
I
or?
mean, truthfully to me, I mean, if the treasurer's office wants to take responsibility that if it's our mistake, treasurer's mistake, or whoever's mistake, not to charge these people, I'm fine with that. With you guys taking control of it.
Right.
Without
right,
us-
and I think we have been doing that since the very first ordinance was issued.
I'm fine with that.
But from my understanding with the new ordinance, it says that the commissioners will have the say. So with that doesn't give it to us for us to put the stop pay on the auditor's office to collect the $35 that we quietus into the bank account. So we've got the money when the bank takes it out of our account.
So if we left off the commissioners,
Got the new.
So it would kind of go back to the very original ordinance? Is that correct?
No. Because
The
the original says we'll take the fee out of the replacement
Oh,
check.
yeah,
So really, the only thing we don't agree with is this, right?
right.
It needs to be our decision.
well,
Gary,
And that's what we
Yes.
is it true, this only started a few years ago, right?
The fees started in October of 14.
Okay, have you gone over to the bank and talked to them about if we could invest more, or I don't know, or
When John Doerr and I met with Patty Hudson at the bank, she said that she was going to have to start charging all the fees that they have waived in the past. She said that they were doing that with the majority of their business accounts. We do get the bank fees charged at Star as well. And we have less invested in Star than we do in First Merchants.
and I thought it was the other way around. And what's the pleasure?
Currently, it's like that, Sherry.
Okay. What's the pleasure, Commissioner?
So what's the old ordinance number? Do you guys know the old ordinance number that was passed last year?
2014-022, but we don't want that one passed because it says in there that we'll reduce the replacement check by the amount of the stop payment, and we can't do that. Because we can't track it, because then the replacement check's not for what the original check was, because we're writing 2 separate checks.
And we took that out of this
So,
version.
yes, that came out of this.
Well, and Donna, didn't you say at one time, wasn't there like a $12 check or $15 check or something like that was less than the 35?
Right, but this says if it's less than
Yeah, okay.
$35, it won't be replaced. So if somebody has a $34 check, they're just out $34, whether it's their fault or not.
You table it if you want.
Let's table this and look further into it.
Yeah, but my question is who pays, does the commissioners pay the
Well,
$35?
that's
my
what's gonna
question.
have to be discussed at our meeting. Okay, we will table it. Need a motion on that.
I guess our recommendation is, I guess if you're gonna table it, that the last paragraph be taken out of the current ordinance that you were wanting to pass today. That would take out that the commissioners would have the say.
I'll make a motion, we table it for further
I'll
discussion.
second it.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Okay, thank you, folks. Okay. Now we go down to our first readings, ordinance or 2015-006. And is anyone here from city?
Sherry, make that 005.
005? I'm sorry. 005. Shannon, would you like to, or James, would you like to fill the public in on what we've been working on?
This is ordinance repealing the old animal control ordinance. We've met with members of the Sheriff's Department and our animal control people to try to update the county ordinance. So we've taken a lot of what the city has in place and our old ordinance and kind of combined those to fit the county's issues. Mr. Murphy went through this. I do believe there is a couple corrections we want to make to this, correct?
They probably will be, and this is just a first reading. That'd be my recommendation today, that we give everybody an opportunity. I did circulate this ordinance to the sheriff's office, and we'll talk to the prosecutor's office, and everybody ought to have a chance to look at it before we do a final.
I'll make a motion for introduction of ordinance 2015-005, ordinance repealing ordinance 2002-26, animal care and control ordinance, and enacting new animal control ordinance for Delaware County.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Resolutions, department, elected officials. Chris, would you like to come up and tell us about the pothole issues, how we're battling those? And Chris, I want to thank you and Troy for going out and helping the country village.
Oh, yeah.
They really appreciated it. I wish we could get all neighborhoods active in the community.
You know, Mark's all right. We get along real good out there. Yeah. Chris McKellen, Delaware County Highway. They have 8 patch trucks out, 2-man crews. We can't get hot mix yet. You know, we're still waiting until about April the 1st. So we're using this one product. It's UPS materials. It's from Westfield, I believe. It costs a little bit more, but it's a type that you don't have to go back. You don't have to go back to the same.
This is the first year you've used it?
Yeah, first year we've used that. Our problem right now is with the blow-ups in the road. If you drive around, you see not so much right now as the potholes are bad, but the roads are blown up. The older roads where the water's got underneath them, frozen's caused blowout. So we got 2 Dural patchers on that. What they do, they clean the debris off the road. They dig them out, they spray the hole out, make sure it's dry, then they put hot emulsion in it, and they shoot this gravel in it. It's a good process, but it's slow. And
Do you have to roll it in? Do you have
no,
to
not with that right there, you don't, no. But like I said, we've got 8 2-man crews out today. It's going to be a long spring, I'm afraid.
And I was sorry to read in the paper that Mr. Williams lost his
Yes,
house.
yes, he did. He was a good
17-year
fellow. He was a
Nice
good
guy. I
driver.
used to work
Yes, he
for us
was.
at the dairy. He was a heck of a nice guy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay. Any other department heads? James?
James Carmichael, County Assessor. Here to update you on Phase 1 of the general reassessment. There were, according to the DLGF, there were 54 counties that were on time, including Delaware County. The others are lagging behind a little bit, so our work is continuing on time as planned. Furthermore, the Property Tax Assessment Board of Appeals is getting ready to go in session here in the near future. That's why the appointment, the suggested appointment. There has been some concern about how that board is being run. It has been run under a Title VI, which has been appropriate. There have been some other interpretations of that. It's very muddy at this point in time, but we're open to some suggestions. But here in the near future, you're probably going to be sold some snake oil. That's all it is snake oil.
Thank you, James. Mr. Rogers.
Jason Rogers, Emergency Management Director for EMS. I've got the write-offs for the time period of February 1st through the 28th. Our total write-offs for that time period are $405,781.13.
Motion on now.
I make a motion. Write those off.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, anything else? Payments of claim, $1,194,579.85.
Make a motion, payment of claims.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you. Any comments from the public today? We do want to welcome Mr. Campbell to the courthouse again. He looks so nice and is very professional.
Gary Campbell, your Delaware County Treasurer. I'm happy to be here. This first meeting, I'm a little not sure what to say sometimes because I haven't been at them before. And I appreciate it, and thanks for the help.
Many of us have those problems, Gary. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate all your service you've done for the county. Okay,
I'll make a
anything else?
motion to recess.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call now.
James.
Mr. Henry.
James.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm sorry.